Hello and welcome to another episode of Hessy and Maven. You're just gonna yawn mid-intro?
I really had to yawn.
Jeez, I asked if you... Okay. And I'm Justin.
I'm Raven.
And this week, Raven came up with a really cool idea for a topic, and we're gonna cover that. Do you want to explain a little bit before we get into it, obviously?
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking about, if... all the fictional worlds that we know from, books and movies and...
Right.
Stuff that we watch, if you had to pick... I have, a ton of backups, but if I had to pick one out of all of them to live in, and the conditions for my question are, you can... Whatever world you pick, you be whatever you want in it.
Right.
It's not
as long
like
as
I'm
it's
saying...
from that world.
Right, as long as it's from that world.
Yeah.
If you pick the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it's not like you enter that world and you have to be Harry Potter. Right. And go through all the trials and shit that he has to go through, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could just be, a wizard.
Yeah.
Whatever, in Harry Potter.
Just Cho-Chang.
In the world. Yeah. So, I just thought it was interesting. Which one would you pick?
Word. Yeah. No, it really got my my brain working big time because it's hard. We'll go into it in more depth when we get to it, but it's hard because
there's so many good ones.
Yes, but what I was going to say was because these are parts of literary works of fiction and stuff like that, naturally there's danger, there's darkness, there's downsides to every one of these worlds, which is I would find one and I would be like, oh, that's the one. And then I'd be like, oh, but then there's that one thing.
No, there's a couple I discounted because of dangers. And,
and then granted, you can be whatever you want in that world as long as it's from that world. But still, I'm curious. I mean, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But do you have any housekeeping items?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I just ate a lot of Chinese food and it's giving me heartburn.
Oh, heartburn is the worst.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a Pepto after this.
Yeah, big time.
You like this new hat I got?
I love it. Fits well. It's not floppy.
No.
Good.
I love my pink hat, but it is so heavy and it just falls right off my head that it kind of hurts my neck.
Oh.
Because my neck is straining to hold it on top of my head.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's really.
It's hard to wear. So I went to Target and I got 3 new beanies. And I got a pair of gloves, the kind that you can type on your phone with.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. They're called isotoners.
Oh, the gloves are?
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a chemical.
It does sound like a chemical.
You had 50 mils of isotoner.
Yep.
20 mils of ethanol. Got yourself a chemical reaction, baby.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, all I was going to bring up is went to the dentist this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally just about done with these trays in my mouth, the Invisalign thing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if your teeth being crooked is causing you a lot of self-esteem issues and almost body image issues, it will help 1,000,000%. I had a huge snaggle tooth. It looked like goddamn tusk coming out of the bottom of my jaw. It looked terrible. It was the thing that if I was doing Snapchats, even to my closest friends and family, my eyes were just wow, look at that snaggle tooth just going crazy. Just peek. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm a head above the rest.
Have your feelings about your teeth improved?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
But let me pepper that with a little bit of criticism.
As you do.
Man, I'm a big complainer.
Yeah.
I'm good at it too.
Yeah.
I can find fault in anything.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. It sucks wearing these goddamn mouth trays. It is a real nightmare. You don't realize how much you either drink or eat something random throughout the day.
Yeah.
But just a little bite.
Mm-hmm.
We just had Halloween had passed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no if I want to just the tiniest little bite of candy, that's it. Brush my teeth again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have it set in my mind. This is due to my friend Randy Fagus. He had Invisalign. I was asking him about it, and he said that he actually got more cavities when he started it because he wasn't brushing his teeth as much as he should. And think about it. If I eat food, sorry if you hear Josie in the background. she's protecting the house. So we appreciate all that she does. Mm-hmm. But if you eat something and there's stuff on your teeth or in your teeth or whatever, and then you kind of seal it in with these invisible trays, that can't be good for your mouth. Mm-hmm. So I'm brushing my teeth like crazy. I'm using mouthwash like a fucking lunatic. Mm-hmm. I've gone through so much toothpaste and mouthwash. It is unreal.
Yeah.
But
tooth stuff is crazy.
It really is.
My appointment, I have an appointment on the 5th to get a root canal and a temporary crown. And then I imagine I have to go back for the actual crown.
Feel for you.
So
you probably get the crown at the same time.
Do you?
I would think so, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you're doing the root canal to get out all the bad stuff, and then you immediately cap it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do it with a temporary crown. But
true. Yes, they sometimes do a temporary crown, and
might be because the last time I got a root canal in Orlando, they did a temporary crown because I backed out of doing the real crown because it was too much money. Mm. So maybe that's why they did a temporary crown. Maybe I'll get the real crown this time around.
We'll see. All of healthcare is too expensive. It is freaking crazy that we live in this country where it's like, quote unquote, the richest country in the world and all this stuff. And it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
But I just deal with broken teeth because I can't afford it.
Exactly. And that's how, by no means do I want to belittle a broken tooth because that is insane pain.
Yeah.
And it is constant.
Yeah.
But it's not like life-threatening.
Right.
But there are people who have life-threatening things that put it to the side because of they can't afford the healthcare costs and everything. And like, I just saw a thing recently on a guy on TikTok was talking about the bill that he got just for having a baby.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, geez, Louise, man. Like, it was like $15,000 just to have a baby.
Yeah.
And it was just like, goodness gracious, man. That's nuts. And we don't need to get into it, but you have some states that are forcing pregnancy on women. Goodness gracious. Who's paying for that? Not the state, I guess. I bet.
Poop a baby out at home.
Just poop that baby out right at home. Yeah. In the bathtub. Do water birth. Gross. Anyway, yeah, it makes me think of Carl Sagan one time. He's like a physicist, kind of very smart guy. He has a very particular way of speaking that I really, really enjoy listening to. Oh, hey, Jojo. How you doing, baby? Protect the house? Everything good? Okay. Yeah, he's a really particular way of speaking that I really, really enjoy listening to. But he's one of those kind of like Stephen Hawking. That's like the level of intellect we're talking about here. And he was on a talk show. I can't remember the talk show. It was old school, before our time. But he was asked about like, does he support socialism or something like that? And he was like, I don't really know if I support socialism. He's like, what I do know is that other countries, like if you look at infant mortality rate for America versus other countries, we have more money than those other countries, but their infant mortality rate is better than ours. And his conclusion of that was like, we just don't care about our babies as much as they do. If we did, we would put the money into it. You know what I mean? Like, we have the money as a country to have better rates of mortality and healthcare and all of these things, but we don't. And so the only natural conclusion you can make is we just don't care enough. If we cared more, we would do it.
Yeah.
But we care more about the profits of insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that hospitals are businesses and not actual like safe havens for health.
Yeah.
I mean, we just watched separately, sort of. I watched the True Life documentary on it, but you watched the dramatized.
Nope.
Help me.
Dramatized.
See, it's a little weird though, right?
I didn't even watch, but there is a drama version.
The Good Nurse.
Yes.
That is what we're referring to. And yeah, you have all these hospitals who are like, yeah, we're pretty sure that this nurse is murdering people, but we can't have all these medical malpractice suits. So
we'll just push that.
We'll just fire him to say that it was because of this, and push him along to the next place. And when they call us for a reference, we'll say, yeah, he's all right.
Man, I looked up Carl Sagan, and it's not who I thought it was, and he looks like a Star Trek character.
It's interesting you say that because while he was on that talk show talking about the cost of healthcare and all this stuff, he compared it to the budget for the Star Wars movies because were just coming out at the time. And he was like, they're spending millions of dollars on this Star Wars movie. And they'll spend $1 billion if they could. If they could spend $1 billion on a movie, they would.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have people starving in the streets, dying of healthcare reasons, in debt up to their eyeballs because they had to use an ambulance. Like, it is nuts.
Who's the guy I'm thinking of? I think he's a comedian who does, like, really sharp criticisms of, like, politics and religion.
Bill Maher?
No. It's gonna bother me. I really thought it was
Lewis Black.
No, I really thought it was Carl Sagan. I feel like Reed has mentioned him before on Criminal Minds. It's gonna bother me.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Oh, is it it's wait, don't say it. Oh man, it's the guy who did all the curse words. He's like an old guy, George Carlin.
Yes, that's who I was thinking
Nailed it. Okay, cool. We got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes me sad. Because trust me, as somebody who's gone so much of their adult life without health insurance, I can't tell you how many times I've pushed things aside and been like, I don't have the money for this. To even find out what it is. Or like, there was one time when I recently moved back to New Jersey. I was working at Wolfie's Diner. And for like 2 months straight, I was having weird stomach issues where like I was barely eating. I was eating like a hot dog a day in terms of calories. And it was really weird. And it was just like I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to eat food or anything. And I was like, this is so bizarre and all this stuff. So then I go to a clinic and I have to pay $50 out of pocket just to see them. And just for them to go, yeah, you have to go see a gastroenterologist. Yeah. Like that's what you have to do. Thanks for the $50. Yeah. And I was like, sick. I'm going to just let this wear off. Yeah. And luckily it did. Yeah. But I know. I mean, it's crazy.
I know. I have something wrong with my foot right now and I want to go to an urgent care to have somebody look at it, but I just know that it's either going to be put it up and ice it or like go to the ER.
And get x-rays for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, which I can't afford. So,
which is one of those things.
I'm just not doing it.
I understand that like x-ray machines themselves are very expensive. But like once the hospital has the x-ray machine, what is costing them so much money per x-ray other than just making a profit?
I don't know because they do make the x-ray in like 0.2 seconds. When they took the x-ray of my teeth the last time I was at the dentist, it was like literally she stepped out of the room, clicked a button, and then the x-ray was on the computer.
Oh no, it's incredible what technology can do. I'm just
why did that
curious.
Cost you so much money?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
so
don't
fast.
understand. Like,
just a photo.
You're literally just taking a picture with a fancy camera.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't understand
what is happening. I also think it's very funny when they're like, "All right, cool. I have to step out of the room because there's all these like crazy X-rays going on, and they can like cause cancer and all this stuff. Here's a vest that only covers your chest. Yeah. And I'm gonna shoot this cannon right at your mouth. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. But again, I have to step out of the room. And you're like, know. Okay.
I also don't. When I was there, I also hate getting the X-rays done, especially because the tooth they were doing was in the far back of my mouth. So the
thing you have to bite down on?
That she had to push in like cut into the very back of my tongue, like where my tongue connects to the bottom of my mouth. Yeah. And I was like choking on my tongue, like. And she was like, "I'll be right back," and she like strolled out of the room, and I'm like choking to death on the. Yeah. It was awful. Oh my gosh.
Well.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then the other really quick thing I just wanted to bring up is that the new Pokemon is out, Scarlet and Violet.
And we love it.
We love it so much.
So good so far.
Now, do we have criticisms? I'm sure. I have
You always do.
I have criticisms about everything. I can find fault in the best things. But overall, I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I really do enjoy it. The open world is fun, although that's really where most of my criticisms lie. But overall, I think it's a great time. The only thing I'm finding annoying is like, I'll land in an area and all the Pokemon around me are weak as shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to catch these Pokemon because I'm going to have to spend 5 years leveling them up to where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm
so
just
that's
catching.
A little annoying,
I'm just catching Pokemon because I want to have like an outrageous amount of Pokemon in my boxes.
Yeah, that's also really nice.
Like
and
a big
I do
Pokemon family.
Mm-hmm. It's just annoying. I'm hoping that they do something similar to Pokemon Sword and Shield, where they had the Poké jobs, where you could send your Pokemon away on jobs, and it would give lots of experience points. They would level up much faster, and you didn't have to do anything with them. You just like send them away for a day in your life. Yeah. But or like, I just wish I could buy rare candies or buy experience things or whatever.
Being able to buy rare candies would be huge.
Because just leveling up Pokemon is the grind. It's the grind. It is the grind of Pokemon. Yeah. And sometimes it's fine, but sometimes it takes so long. Yeah. I have some amazing Pokemon, but they're at level 10, and my strongest are in the 50s. And it's like, God, that's going to take so long to do that.
It is.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It's still
fun,
the price we pay to love Pokemon. Yes. And there's a lot of cool new Pokemon that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I have an ostrich Pokemon and I love her.
Ostrich Pokemon is fun. Its first of all form we did not know because it looked like a cute little fairy.
Yes.
And
like
then it becomes
Tinkerbell.
a fucking ostrich.
That looks like Anna Wintour.
Yeah, I still don't know who that is.
She's like the CEO of Vogue magazine. And she decides who goes to the Met Gala.
Oh. Wow, that's a lot of power. Has to
be approved by her, yeah. She's huge in the fashion world.
Good for her.
Yeah, and she's scary looking.
Devil Wears Prada.
Very Devil Wears Prada. I think Devil Wears Prada is loosely based around her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great.
It's a fantastic movie.
That's such a good.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that I didn't think I was gonna like as much as I was like genuine.
And I'll just say really quick, they make you think that Anne Hathaway is the villain, but her boyfriend is the villain.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. He's not supportive. He's rude.
Yeah.
He's the villain.
And then there's moments where you think maybe Stanley Tucci is a little bit of like
the villain,
guilty by association villain.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no. Meryl Streep is.
Yeah.
She has very few qualities.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we just get into it?
Yeah.
All right. So we're looking at fictional, literary, or other forms of entertainment. It doesn't necessarily have to be books.
No, it could be movies.
But
or video games.
Sort of like fictional worlds, and which worlds do we want to live in, why, and what would we be in those worlds? That's kind of the gist that you're going for? Okay. Now how should we do this? Should we do some runner-ups and some other ideas?
Yeah, I think we should do runner-ups, and then the number one, the one you'd pick above all, would be the last one that we discuss.
Okay. Do you
want me to go first?
Please.
You look like you're scrolling.
I'm scrolling a little bit. I have some ideas. I feel good about some of these things. Other things I'm nervous about.
Okay. Really quick, I will say some of the worlds that I did not put on my list because of scary stuff that could happen. Westeros.
Westeros was one I quickly removed from my list.
I'm not trying to get killed.
No. Also, yeah, George R.R. Martin, listen, I understand that you're trying to go for a fantasy world where, like, dragons and other mystical things exist, but you're also trying to root it some sort of weird realism where you're like, incest and rape are very real.
Yeah.
And those two things are why I was like,
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to get killed. Everybody's getting killed, and
Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, the whole Game of Thrones is deadly.
I would not be in the game. I would be a side character of a side character of a side character.
Oh yeah, and a peasant.
I would love to have a dragon.
No doubt.
That was why I considered it at first.
Yeah.
But no, ultimately no. I want to be alive.
I totally agree.
I also discounted the Witcher universe.
Oh.
Too many monsters.
That one didn't even cross my mind. Yeah, that one didn't even cross my mind. Too many monsters.
Way too many monsters.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, no way, dude.
I couldn't do it. One that I did include.
Okay, an actual runner-up.
Let me see if my child is upstairs. There she is.
Hi, Olive. Hello, Olive. Hi, baby.
Hi, baby. The Pokemon universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would love... I don't think I would be, like, a Pokemon champion. I'm not trying to battle what are essentially my children.
Right,
I think I would be, like, maybe a breeder or, like, a caretaker.
Yeah.
Like, when we watch the show, that girl who lives in the woods and is protected by Bulbasaur.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe I'd be her.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Like a sanctuary.
Yeah, like a sanctuary. I'd run a Pokemon sanctuary.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And they would be so cute. And I would have, like, I don't know who my Pokemon partner would be. Like, if we're going off, like, Pokemon Pikachu Detective or Detective Pikachu, the movie with Justice Smith. Like, who my partner would be. I have a strong fondness for Psyduck.
Yeah.
So maybe Psyduck.
Psyduck would be a good choice for you.
Yeah. We would be so good together.
I can really see that. Yeah.
I could just see, like, if we were in the pharmacy together and me getting really stressed out because the phone is ringing, the person at the counter is yelling, the person at the drive-thru is honking, and then me and Psyduck just going, and Psyduck just exploding because it has a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Or I really do love Grafaiai. One of my favorite new Pokemon.
It's a new Pokemon, yeah. It's kind of like a ring-tailed lemur who does graffiti.
I think it's an eye. Google it. Because eyes have the big eyes and they have the long finger. Grafaiai has a long finger.
All right, I am Googling it. I mean, it says is a short primate Pokemon resembling a lemur or loris.
Yeah.
It literally has a striped tail. It is so much more closely resembling a ring-tailed lemur. Have you seen
Did you look up lemur? An eye?
Yeah, I've seen eyes, Raven. I know what an eye is. I'm not an idiot.
That's what it is. Can this fucking get bigger? Zoom.
Dude, it's a ring-tailed lemur. You're crazy.
It's literally this. This is an eye.
I get your points that you're trying to make.
And that's what my Pokemon is. That's why it's called Grafaiai.
Yeah.
Look at its disgusting long fingers. That's how I knew.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think it looks more ring-tailed lemur-y still. But anyway,
yeah, I would love to live in the Pokemon world.
Pokemon world is definitely one of my runner-ups as well. Although I would want to be a champion.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I want to catch all the Pokemon. I want to be a champion. Or I would actually, because I'm so different from you in the sense that I like settling down, I want to be a gym leader. I want to become a gym leader of poison-type Pokemon.
Once I
Hell yeah.
travel all around the Pokemon universe and I do everything I want to do and I see all the different Pokemons.
Yeah.
When I do eventually settle down in the Pokemon universe, I would like to live in the location that's in Pokemon Sword and Shield, the fairy area, where it's all glow in the dark and little mushrooms and
everything is bioluminescent.
And that's where the fairy gym leader is.
Yeah.
That's where I would live.
Yeah, the fact that fairy gym leader gives up the gym leader title to that fucking bully.
Yeah, the bully with gray hair.
Really pisses me off.
Yeah, that was a weird storyline for them to do.
It was so...
Yeah.
Be like, hey, this person is making fun of you this whole time and just battling you randomly. They're a gym leader now.
Yeah.
What?
And that person talks shit about the fairy gym. They're like, I don't want to fucking be...
I know.
The fairy gym leader. I want to be the champion.
Piece of shit.
And then they end up doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Weird.
Whereas at least in this one, the one character who you think might be a bully ends up actually having a heart of gold. The dude with the weird ass hair. I don't want to know spoilers for people who haven't gotten there yet.
In Violet and Scarlet?
The person who gives you the Titan stuff. Yeah.
Got it.
But anyway, yeah, Pokemon World is definitely on my list. I fucking love Pokemon so much. The idea of just having a bunch of animals and then being able to do cool ass shit. And I'm also operating under the assumption that Pokemon are cool with fighting, that it's not cruel, and that for some reason it is okay.
You'd have to operate under that assumption.
Because otherwise, I wouldn't be a Pokemon battler or a gym leader.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting my Pokemon hurt all the time and hurting other Pokemon, and you're getting close to dogfighting territory.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. But we're not in our world. We're in the Pokemon world where that is totally normal. It is a huge thing. Ash Ketchum does it. He just recently won his first big tournament.
Very emotional.
He became a Pokemon champion.
Yeah, he became a champion after all these years.
He
defeated Leon.
Only 12 years old still.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
It's really funny.
It's just like, that's one of those cartoon things where they just stay the same age forever.
Like Timmy Turner. Do you remember the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer gets a rooster and names it Little Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah.
And then Marcelino, the bodega owner,
is like
puts up a check that Jerry bounced, and in order to get it down, he like requires them to give the rooster over to a cockfighting ring that he runs.
Yeah.
And they're at Jerry, George, Kramer, and Elaine are all at the cockfight at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is not why I'm saying it, but there's one part where Jerry says something to Elaine like, "You've got your life together," and Elaine goes, "Jerry, it's 4 a.m. and I'm in a cockfight. You think I have my life together?" And I think it's so funny. And then, but do you remember they're all yelling like in slow motion?
Yeah.
And Kramer is like, "Little Jerry!" And Elaine goes, "Stop the fight!" And George goes, "Tamales!"
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh my god, that show is so good.
I also I would be George in particular.
Tamales!
Oh my gosh.
Okay. One of yours.
Yeah, Pokemon World. Wow, yeah, it's a really, really good one.
Yeah, it's really up there.
Oh, yeah, I would love that one so much. The other thing that would make, obviously, like, the idea of seeing Pokemon as cartoons, you're like, oh, cute, this one's great, this is cool. Seeing them in, like, even the Pikachu Detective, terrifying.
Some of them are terrifying.
Some of them are fucking terrifying.
Also, living in a world where Dittos exist, I think would really mess me up mentally.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, if they can control their eyes, then it's like,
you
can't trust anybody.
The weird faces, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that Pokemon as a company has decided to run with that for so long, considering it was just a random. It was a very specific Ditto in the anime
that couldn't do its eyes.
That couldn't do the face.
Yeah.
And it learns how to do the face through the episode with the thanks of Team Rocket, actually.
Right.
But that they've decided to run with that because they think it's funny. And it is funny.
It is funny.
I love it. What was I going to say? Yeah, you know, actually in this game, because there's another Pokemon who does something sort of similar, Zorua, who can make itself look like other Pokemon.
Yes, I ran into one. It was disguised as the sheepdog looking Pokemon, and I walked up to it, and then it changed into whatever else, and I was
Zorua,
like confused.
It's like a black red box kind of thing. Yeah. If you do that thing where you click the left trigger and you kind of like look at a Pokemon and it gives you their level, it'll tell you what it is. It'll say Ditto or Zorua.
Oh, okay.
It won't say what the trick is. So, just a heads up.
Interesting.
But anyway, so, okay, yeah. Pokemon is an incredible one. Here's one of my backups. I'm going to do... Man, there's so many, actually. This is hard.
I have, just so you're aware,
I know, you probably have like
1,
12.
2, 3, 4 more backups, and then my number 1.
Okay. All right. I'll do a backup that didn't make the list for danger reasons, but makes the list because of specific parts in it, and I get to choose who I am. And I imagine you kind of get to pick like the time period. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if in the beginning of the book, danger is everywhere. I'm going to go to the end of the book when the danger is vanquished.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings.
Okay. That's one I kind of was hoping you would pick because I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
I know, it's
so
on
I couldn't
our
put
list.
it on my
we
list.
gotta do it. Every time I think about our side project of us making each other watch movies,
yes.
I intentionally don't pick that because I'm gonna feel the wrath of Tony if I make you watch that movie without him being here.
Yeah.
And Tony, if you're listening, which I hope you are, don't worry. Homie,
Tony was upset after the last episode where I talked about how I had never seen Halloween Town.
I know. He chimes in. My friends chime in also. Allie thought it was so funny when you were like, number 2, back to school. Yeah. And then you just went, I know. Raven, why'd you pick back to school? It's because I hate children. So funny. Anyway, yeah, you guys got to follow us on TikTok at Hessy and Maven, or go to the YouTube because some of these things I'm sure that they're so funny over podcast and audio. Yes. Man, when you see the visual though, it is even funnier. Anyway, okay, Middle Earth. Mm-hmm. It is iconic. Okay. It is very nature forward, which I really love. There's lots of sort of magic and whimsy, and the reason it didn't make the final list is strictly because of danger. The idea that there are dragons and there are trolls and monsters and goblins and orcs and fucking Sauron and the evil ring that's gonna take your fucking mind over and you're gonna become Gollum and all that shit. Like, that's just
what would you be?
Stuff. It's a tie.
Okay.
I would either want to be an elf or a hobbit.
They live in the little holes.
They live in
the circle
holes.
The circle doors.
Door, the one that is very iconic. Yeah.
That you can go to in New Zealand.
Yes. So, elf, practically you have immortality.
Orlando Bloom.
Yes. You practically are immortal.
Okay.
Like you can die like if someone stabs you, but you don't die from age.
Okay.
Eventually you get called back to their original homeland kind of thing. It's very interesting. It's almost like go to the light kind of thing, but they like ride a boat. They do a good job of kind of putting it into from the book into a visual understanding of it in the Rings of Power, the new thing on Amazon. Galadriel is a female elf. She eventually hits that threshold where you're like, you've done enough in Middle Earth, the land where dwarves and men and whatever, you can go home now. And that you get on a boat and there's this like blinding white light that the boat kind of goes towards, and she jumps off the boat at the last second. Spoilers. But we all knew that was gonna happen. She doesn't want to go home? The prequel. She still thinks that Sauron, the evil, the big bad, is still out there. And every one of her like superiors is like, no, you're fine. And if that happens, we'll be fine. We'll take care of it. You're good. Your job here is done. And she's just like, no. She's mom. She's a workaholic. Yeah. She's like, no, absolutely not. I have to do it. Yeah. No one can do it like I can do it. Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, elves are just cool. I like their society is very interesting. Lots of song and poems and traditions and stuff like that. So there are parts of it that I really, really enjoy. Yeah.
It's a good one.
And the elegance of it. But then hobbits. Okay. I'm in it for hobbits for the pastoral living, this sort of very homestead kind of idea of like you're growing your own vegetables. It's so much about food. Like
they have second breakfast or something, right?
They have breakfast, second breakfast, 11Z's, supper. You have afternoon tea. Like there's like 10 different courses throughout the day, and I just
that's your
love
vibe.
It. I love that vibe so much. And again, Rings of Power does a great job of just showing sort of like back in the day, aka Lord of the Rings day, like back in the day, that Rings of Power, the prequel, there were 3 different kinds of hobbits, and the story follows this young girl who's called her, like the race of her people are called Harfoots. Okay. But eventually all of these 3 different kind of distinct type of hobbits sort of blend together to form what we know as hobbits in the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, and those movies and books. But anyway, I just love it. I love the idea of I would like to be kind of like Bilbo Baggins and have an adventure, go out and meet dwarves and elves and create these friendships. I always admire Bilbo for his like. Hobbits are known for sticking to themselves, being very introspective and like borderline reclusive. But then Bilbo will go down in history as like, I mean, he's like an ambassador almost in terms of the relationships that he's forged with elves and with dwarves and all of this cool stuff. And I just think that's so fascinating. I think that's really, really interesting. Especially in a world where culturally, if you look at hobbits and then there's like men, humans, elves and dwarves, culturally they're all very different. They all have their own vibes and ways of running things. And I mean, I'm not a fan of monarchies, so I guess that would be a downside to Middle Earth. But yeah, I mean, after Sauron's dead, I'd be very curious to see what comes next, in the sense that if for some reason they were to come out with a sequel after Sauron gets killed, when the ring gets destroyed and all that kind of stuff, I mean, is there another big bad? Is there another evil thing that needs fighting? I'd be curious, you know what I mean? But then, if I was living in that world, I don't know. I love the nature.
I feel like there's always got to be a big bad. Like, I think even in that prequel to The Witcher that's coming out, Blood Origin, I think there's a big bad there too. Yeah. So there's always got to be some big bad.
There's always a big bad. Well, especially like when you're actually writing something, not just because the interesting thing about this is we're trying to put ourselves into this world, but I'm trying to think of the world as if it were like real and not like there's an author writing this for the sake of selling it.
Oh, fair.
Because if you're selling a book, of course there has to be a big bad.
Right.
There has to be some conflict and something to overcome. Otherwise, what is it going to be?
Just like a world,
500 pages of being like, and on Tuesday, it was another great day.
Yeah.
And Wednesday, it rained a little bit, but we made do. Like, that's boring as hell. Like, you gotta have a bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Middle Earth is what I wrote up.
Two things.
Yep, bring it on, come on.
I read recently that the actor who plays Watson in Sherlock, who's also in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he plays Bilbo.
Him and Benedict Cumberbatch in real life don't like each other.
Oh, no.
How upsetting is that?
That's so upsetting.
I know. I was so sad.
Why don't they like each other?
I don't know. I don't have proof.
They both seem perfectly likable people when I see them in interviews and stuff.
I do have to say I'd be on Team Benedict.
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Also, have you seen that show you like, that British show where the guy sits at the chair and all the celebrities sit on the couch?
Taskmaster? Oh, Graham Norton.
Yes. Professor X from...
Yes.
Yeah, and Gandalf.
Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen are there, and Hugh Jackman, but Hugh Jackman's irrelevant.
They're talking about it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
he talks... Ian McKellen talks about going to the Oscars for Lord of the Rings, and he's wearing a green stone on a necklace that they gave him in New Zealand that's like supposed to bring you luck, and it's supposed to bring you back to New Zealand eventually.
Yeah.
And he sees Maggie Smith at the like award ceremony, and he does a really good impression of her, which I'm not gonna do, but she's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a thing from New Zealand. It's supposed to bring you good luck or whatever." And then he said 3 or 4 hours goes by, everybody he knows wins an Oscar except for him. And then after the awards show, he runs into Maggie Smith again, and she goes, "Well, I guess it didn't work, did it?" It's so funny.
Maggie Smith is so funny. I love that. That's actually not the clip I was thinking you were going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw the same interview with the three of them, but Patrick Stewart was talking about how he was like, you know what we should do?
Just Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, he's like, I have a great idea.
Yeah.
He's like, we can do Sweeney Todd. You'll make a great... And he's talking to Hugh Jackman, like, you'll make a great Sweeney Todd. Da-da-da. And I, for a short run of time.
Yep.
We'll play the judge.
Mm-hmm.
I only have a few lines, but we sing a song together and da-da-da. And then he like motions over to Sir Ian McKellen and goes, and who else could play the great Mrs. Lovett?
Yep.
And it was so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love Ian McKellen in interviews. He's so funny. And he really lets his like flamboyance fly.
Yeah.
Which I love.
He's cute. Yeah. He's a cute old man.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for my next one?
I'm ready for your next one.
I think it's going to surprise you. Toontown from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
But specifically Toontown.
Well, like, no. Like the world that they live in. Where it's like real people and the cartoons come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Toontown is different. Toontown is where toons live, only toons.
Okay. So I would live in
that movie.
In wherever they live.
Yeah,
where the toons come in, but there's real people.
And it's like a mixture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could, cool. And I would just be someone who works backstage in Hollywood, in movies and film and stuff.
Yeah.
That way I could like chill with all my favorite cartoons.
Yeah.
How fucking cool would that be?
That's a really good answer.
That'd be so fun.
And that's a runner-up for you?
Yeah, it's a runner-up.
You did way better on this than I did. Wow. Okay.
That'd be so fun.
That's a really good one.
That's a good movie. We haven't watched that in a long time.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It is so freaking good.
Yeah.
Oh
it's an underrated movie.
God,
if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Oh, it's Christopher Lloyd.
Also, you could make an argument for Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yeah.
Where you live amongst the cartoons.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
What's the quote I like from that movie?
Shh, I'm out to fight.
No, not that one. That's a good one.
Oh, that's not it?
The villain says it with the glasses and the weird haircut.
Oh. How about you and me do a little bit of kissing later?
What?
That's what they all say at first. That's what he says. Steve Martin plays the villain in that.
Oh, he's so good.
Head of Acme.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Guys, if you haven't seen Looney Tunes Back in Action,
really is
what
so
the fuck are you doing? I think it's on HBO Max. Get the free trial, delete it the next day, but treat yourself.
No, the Pendulum of Doom.
The Pendulum of Doom! What is the Pendulum of Doom doing here? That's overkill! Get rid of it!
Oh my god, it's so funny. That's overkill. Get rid of it.
God, it's so funny.
Yeah, that is a top shelf fucking movie. But yeah, any like world where it's like real people in cartoons.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that would be a really, really good answer. To be like a casting agent.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
Working for Warner Brothers.
Uh-huh.
And getting to do all these cartoons and stuff like that would be so much fun.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Wow, yeah, that's a good one. That's a really, really good one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was that your drum roll?
Sort of.
Okay.
The world of Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I love it.
If I was going to live in that world, I would just be Sophie. That would be my dream.
Really?
Yeah. I'd want to be married to Howl, living in his moving castle.
Yeah. See, I want to be Howl.
Yeah.
Or something like Howl. It doesn't need to be Howl specifically.
Yeah. Just a wizard.
But I want to be I want to be a wizard.
Yeah.
And use magic and do all that kind of cool ass shit. It'd be pretty cool to be that kid.
Yeah, the apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're in on it. Mm-hmm. You're in on all these like top secret Howl shit.
Yeah.
But then also like you appear as an old man every once in a while and put on a little disguise. Yep. And dude, that kid's, I mean, think about what he's gonna be like when he's like 25.
He's gonna be like Howl. He's gonna be crazy awesome.
He's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer. I want to be the kid from Howl's Moving Castle. The reason it didn't make top list, all I could think about was how intense those war scenes were, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be in that thing where it's like plagued by a world war. Like,
yeah.
Thank gosh that has never happened in our lifetime.
I know.
I'm speaking about me and Raven. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe one of our listeners is very old.
Yeah.
But
one of my favorite things in Howl's Moving Castle that I would love is when he turns the knob at the front door and it's just like a different location.
And changes locations.
So cool.
Yeah, you know how I feel about teleportation and stuff like that. I love that shit. So
no, it'd be awesome.
Big on my list.
Yeah.
Having a fire demon as a friend.
Yep.
Who eats
love
all my
Calcifer.
eggshells. Yeah. That would
May
be
all
so
your
much...
bacon burn.
Yeah, just love it so much. The magic and everything is so fun.
No, that's a great one.
And Studio Ghibli does such a good job of making every little detail inside of a home seem better than normal. Like that breakfast that Sophie makes.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's not like the best breakfast in the world,
but it looks
Studio
like it.
Ghibli and Miyazaki absolutely destroys it and makes it, and I'm using destroy in a good sense, which is intuitive, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like crushes it, just makes it look so good. The eggs, the bacon, everything is so on point. And then it's like that with all Studio Ghibli movies. And to be
food
fair,
is always incredible.
To be fair, I can almost like umbrella this out a little bit and pick a number of Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service, Be a Little Witch.
I still have never seen that one, so that one.
God, it's so good.
I know it's on my list of things to watch. I just haven't seen it.
It's so good. Or Totoro, and just be friends with the big Totoro and the Cat Bus.
The Cat Bus, absolutely huge.
Ponyo.
Also, Ponyo, Princess Mononoke.
Oh, that one's too scary.
It is very scary, which is again why I didn't make the list at all. But I just love the idea of nature being so personified.
Yeah.
I
would like to be part of the wolf family.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know who really creeps me out?
But the boars are really scary.
Family?
What?
Scarier than the boars almost. Except when the boar gets that like disease stuff.
It's so disgusting.
So gross. Yeah. No, I was going to say the gorilla people.
Oh, they're scary too. The chimps.
Their voices.
Yeah.
Now I watched it, when we watched it, it was English dub.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video of all of the sort of like mythology and religion references that are in Princess Mononoke. And they showed a clip of the gorilla people, but it was in Japanese. It was even scarier. With their red eyes.
Their red eyes.
They're almost shapeless. I mean, they're not shapeless. That you can see the outlines of them, but that you can barely
like
see
silhouettes.
any features. It's so dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, Miyazaki, as usual, does an incredible job using not only the art form to show things, but also the absence of light to make things really creepy too. But it was in Japanese, and I don't. It was so deep and scary. It was like so scary.
Yeah.
How deep the gorilla voices were.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
the cute Studio Ghibli worlds.
No doubt.
Yes, top shelf.
No doubt. Yeah.
Top shelf. That's a good one.
What's your next one? Bring it on. Come on.
The Four Nations.
Oh. Air. Fire. Water. Earth. The Four Nations lived in harmony. And then the fire died. That's not how it goes. I'm going off of
you were close.
I'm going off of memory.
Now, when and where I would live in this world, I think has changed for me over time. Yeah.
Talk to me about the process.
I think so. When Avatar first came out and I watched it, I immediately was like, oh, I would be a firebender all fucking day.
You've always had an affinity for fire when it comes to like which element would you be? Yeah.
Because in my head it's like so badass. Like I feel like you'd win every fight. Like I know that water is better, like water beats fire, but I just feel like firebenders are so like if you go against a firebender, everyone is like scared. They're like, oh shit, like they're a firebender? Yeah. We're probably gonna lose.
Yeah.
And, like, I always wanted to be that. Like,
Yeah,
I wanted to be,
sure.
like, the fucking head honcho. Like, you don't even want to
Right.
try to fight me.
Yeah.
Because I'll fucking destroy you.
I'll destroy you.
Yeah, I'll light you on fire.
No, I get it.
However.
Hounst ever.
That completely goes against any natural fiber of my being.
Yeah, to be super aggressive and very extra and like extroverted and being like, hey, do you want to fight? Do you want to fucking fight?
Yeah. I know.
Do you want to fight?
I know. So
I just happen to have a lighter.
I think what I would be in the world is before the 100 Years' War. So before Aang flies away into the storm.
Okay.
Like before.
So eventually there will be 100 Years' War.
Yes.
But okay.
I don't live during that time.
Yeah. Before that.
Yes. I live maybe like when Kyoshi is Avatar.
Yeah.
As an air nomad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was out of left field, dog.
I think I would be an air nomad. I think I would live in the air temples. And I do like the ceremony that they do for Tenzin's daughter in Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Where they shave her head and she gets the arrow tattoo.
Yeah.
And
you'd be a tattoo artist of the air nomads.
I would, like something cool. I'd be like in the air nomads. I would be like just living in the sky, in the clouds, just
the
like
air nomads
free.
are badass, dude.
Yeah.
People don't talk about it enough. Have you seen the TikToks of the people? I think we sent them to each other about them arguing about which type is the actual most badass.
No.
And one guy makes the claim that air is the best.
Yeah. I don't know.
And his arguments are sound.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like the other two people they're clearly doing a podcast. It's like a video version of it on TikTok. And the other two people are like, what are you talking about? Earth or fire? Like they're talking any of the other ones, not air. Like they were like, no, air is the weakest. And this guy's like, no. It's the strongest. And he gives all these examples and it is crazy.
Air is like the one thing where you can't really take it away.
Not exactly, no.
Like firebenders you can put in like a freezer.
Yeah. Without killing them, you can't take air away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't breathe.
Yeah. Water and earth, I feel like, are the easiest to take away.
And what's the one villain's name who gains airbend in Korra?
He is an airbender, but I think
he's not an airbender originally.
The guy with the mask? Who runs he hates benders. Oh yeah, he is a waterbender.
No, I'm talking about the guy who he's like part of the Red Lotus. He has his girlfriend is the explosion bender.
I don't remember. Is this in Korra?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I only watched Korra all the way through once.
Yeah. So this guy, it's right when she does the whole thing where she Korra like unites the spirit world and a lot of airbenders.
Oh, a lot of airbenders pop up. Yeah, I remember that.
So this one guy who's in a prison becomes an airbender and he picks it up. I mean, he clearly was like a super incredible martial artist.
Right.
But he picks up airbending incredibly fast and he shows how deadly it can be when he kills the Earth Queen by sucking the air out of her lungs and suffocates her, which for a cartoon, I got to tell you, when I saw that scene, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, definitely
intense. See the life leave her eyes.
Yeah.
But then another example of how strong airbending is when Aang eventually finds his old teacher, Monk Gyatso.
Yeah.
He is dead. Granted, it's been 100 years, so it's really just like a skeleton. But he is surrounded by bodies of firebenders.
Oh, yeah.
That is like a testament in and of itself of like this old ass man.
Yeah, he went down swinging.
He took people with him.
Yeah.
And that's from a peaceful ass monk.
Yeah.
Like imagine if he wasn't super peaceful.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Sure.
Like yeah. And that I think airbenders are so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's also not an element that you have to create.
Exactly.
So fire you don't have to create, but you do need some sort of warmth.
Yeah.
Water bending and earth bending, you could be
those can be taken away.
Denied, the sources of. I mean, there's ways to do it, you know,
right.
Like obviously
like when Toph creates metal bending.
But. Or when Katara uses her own sweat.
Yeah.
armpit bending.
Or blood bending.
Or blood bending, which is crazy.
Taboo, but
badass. Yeah. See, I want to go Earth.
You'd go Earth.
Yeah, dude. You just watch a couple of those fight scenes between like Kuvira and the Beifongs.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Dude. It's just
the Beifongs are badass.
Coolest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really resonated with those two twins. I was like, these twins are fun, and I like them, and I feel like I want to be one of them. Like, they're fun.
You could also get to the point of what's his face does lava bending.
Lava bending.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Oh my
god, dude, Bolin. I love Bolin.
Yeah, he's the best character in that series.
The best character. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Korra.
Yeah.
I really did. I really enjoyed Legend of Korra. I think the only downside to it was the way that they were hamstrung.
Again.
With the writing. They were only approved for one season. So then they wrote that one season. And then they said, oh, you know what? Actually, we'll give you a second season. So then they wrote for a second. Like, it wasn't like, you're going to get 4 seasons. Let's do an overarching thing. And that's why it feels so segmented and it feels a little silly.
Yeah.
Whereas, obviously, Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was, hey, you're going to get 3 seasons. Book 1, book 2, book 3. Each one will learn the new element, but also overarching themes. Like, you're able to pull the whole thing together. Korra didn't have that opportunity. And I think that's why people don't like it as much. And I think that there's just natural, like, anytime there's a fandom, I have to assume that there's sexism and bullshit.
Yeah.
And, the Avatar's a girl. I guarantee that's why it's not as popular also.
I don't know. I liked Legend of Korra. I didn't love it. I don't love Korra's personality.
Yeah.
Like, I think that she's like, if she was in real life, like, it's someone I wouldn't get along with. Like, and it's not to say that she's a bad person. She's not. She's like, she's very like selfless and like does whatever for the people around her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she's very like arrogant and very like in your face. Like, let's fucking go. And you're like, all right.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I get
just a smidge.
I think that it's like when you look at her as a drawing.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, she could be anywhere between 17 to 28.
Yeah.
But then remembering that she's like 16.
Yeah.
So then it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Her personality completely makes sense in which age she actually is.
Right.
And the fact that she's been like borderline sheltered by the White Lotus in the Water Tribe.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that really make sense. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I would go Earth Kingdom personally. But
Fair.
that's just because I also have a deep respect for whoever runs Bossing Say's Twitter page. Just every once in a while, they'll just be like, Kanye West is banned from Bossing Say. And I'm like, I love this place.
I feel like you'd be like King Boomy.
Yeah.
Like when he's in the iron coffin, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, I could have gotten out whenever I wanted. And they're like, well, what the fuck are you waiting for? And then the eclipse comes and he's like, this is what I was waiting for. And then he just like jumps out. And I'm like, you just stayed there the whole time?
I knew what I was doing. Rock candy. I fucking love Boomy.
I love the scene when they show up at like the camp of the White Lotus, like when they're gonna fight Ozai.
Oh my god.
And he's like, Aang isn't with them, and Boomy's like, you're missing someone important, and he's looking among them. And they're like, oh, Aang is somewhere, and he's like, no. Where's Momo?
Momo. Peach.
Anyway. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I might have to make this not as long as I'd like it to be because I have to leave for work at 2:00. But if you want to do one more runner up and then I'll do my final and then you do your final.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Another runner up for me is Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Hogwarts. The idea of witchcraft and wizardry. Listen, I hate J.K. Rowling. I think she's a turf and a terrible person. The more she doubled down on her bullshit, the more I double down on hating her.
Yeah.
But And I'm not one of those people, separate the artist from the artwork, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It was part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I love the world of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to give that bitch any more of my money, so I'll just take everything I already own and I'll just run with that, and that's what it is.
Yes.
Anyway, I want to be a wizard. I want to do magic. That's kind of the theme throughout most of my shit so far, with the exception of Middle-earth, because I didn't choose Gandalf to be. But like, yeah, I want to do witchcraft and wizardry. I want to apparate places. I want to call things to me, turn the lights on with a wand. It's sick. And I am one of those people who, like, low key, as long as it's something that I enjoy studying, I love school.
Yeah.
Going to school to learn how to make potions and how to do defensive spells and learn about magical monsters and stuff, and all that shit sounds dope.
Now I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Would you live in America and go to Ilvermorny or whatever it's called? Or would you live in the UK and go to Hogwarts?
It's very interesting. I don't have a great reference point for Ilvermorny.
Mm-hmm.
All I really know is Hogwarts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because what if I want to go to Beauxbatons? Beauxbatons.
Beauxbatons?
You're saying it the way the English people say it. That's okay.
You think a French person would say Beauxbaton?
Beauxbaton.
You'd have to be French, no?
Oui, pero I can be Spanish.
Also, is it an all-female school?
It's not in the books. In the movie, in the movies, they were like, gender.
Yeah, because they did that for
Durmstrang.
Durmstrang too.
Yeah, they fucking did. But no, that is not the way that it actually is in the books, technically.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever.
So, Hogwarts?
I'm picking Hogwarts only because that's all I really know. I don't know any of the other schools that well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't really make an educated guess on any of that. I just know that I would like to do it. I think I would have a lot of fun. I would play Quidditch.
I would not.
You know me, I'm a fucking jock. But I would also be like Hermione, but then also a little bit of a jock. Just be like having so much fun.
I have another question.
And then like just a twinge of like the Weasley twins, where I'm just like a little mischievous. I want a Marauders map. Like, I want to have a good time.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think your career track would be? Like, you'd be going to school and then you'd be like heavily into potions. You'd want to be like a potion master, or you'd want to work at the Ministry of Magic, or you'd want to work in botany and herbology. Or
I think I would want to become a professor.
A professor. Professor of what?
Transfiguration. Take over McGonagall's job.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
That's my answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What is your next backup?
No, I'm doing my final now.
Oh, right.
Final now, and then your final. This is my number 1 answer.
Bring it on, come on.
This is where I'd live. In a fictional world above all else.
Let's do it.
Neverland. I would live in J.M. Barrie's Neverland.
Yep.
I love the idea of being immortal, and you go there and you don't grow up. You just stay at whatever age you are when you're there.
Yep.
You're free to do whatever you want because there's no adults, so you can just not an adult right now.
Yeah.
I'm a child, so just accept it.
Yeah.
And I would just beep bop around the whole fucking place.
Beep bop around.
I'd
beep bop around.
I'd befriend the mermaids. I'd put thumbtacks on Captain Hook's pirate ship deck.
Yeah.
I would become friends with Peter. I'd be hanging out with Tinkerbell.
Yep.
Ideally, I'd like to be a fairy like Tinkerbell.
Would you
could.
Would you make them change the name Lost Boys to Lost Kids? Or would you form your own group?
I think I'd form my own group.
Called the Lost Girls.
I think we'd be the Lost Souls.
Oh, darker. Okay.
Or like the Lost Corn Cobs.
Corn Cobs? Good. That sounds like you. You're from that like Nebraska area of Neverland. Like, wow, it's super flat today. Everything is flat. See for miles.
And first of all, I'd love to be a fairy.
The corn queen.
The corn queen. I'd be the corn queen fairy, and I would take up Peter's job of going to Earth and finding children that are in inopportune situations, and I would bring them to Neverland.
There you go.
And then we'd live there in bliss forever.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's my number one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Neverland was on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a really good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Number one. Drum roll. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah. But, oh man, this is so hard. All right, let me just riddle out. I'm just going to say them, and then we're not going to go into detail. Some other runner-ups.
Okay.
The entire idea of D&D worlds. So like I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to pick it for my number one because it felt cheap because it's a world that I actually created.
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I created this world that kind of combines D&D fantasy with New York City.
Okay.
And it's called Sphinx City. It's the same. So there are taxis, but maybe a pixie is driving the taxi using stilts to hit the pedals.
Right.
Or there's a hot dog vendor, but it's like a goblin with 3 arms who's like slinging hot dogs left and right. You know what I mean? So it's a mix of fantasy, but there's also like technology, and you have cell phones, but there's still magic. It's normal to see somebody walking down the street with a great sword strapped to their back, and you're not like, oh my god, I'm in danger. Like that's just normal. That's normal fantasy shit. You know. Of course, when I created that world, because it's for the sake of playing D&D, there are bads. There are big bads. And evil people, corrupt police, pharmaceutical companies. Really, the enemy is capitalism. That's how I like it. But in my fantasy worlds that I create, the enemy is always capitalism.
Stick it to the man.
Or colonialism or imperialism or something like that. But yeah. But it felt cheap picking that, so I didn't pick that. I also have chosen things like the world of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
The idea of being it's multiple planets. Each planet is a little unique. It's kind of like a space western style, Star Warsy kind of vibes.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Can I pause you for a minute? Hi, Mommy. You're making an appearance on our podcast.
Hi, podcast.
What's up? I mean, the top of it hurts, but I'm just gonna get an ace bandage at work. Okay.
All right. Back to my podcast.
The podcast says bye. Love you.
All right. Love you.
Bye. That was our mom, ladies and gentlemen.
Josie farted, and it is ripe over here by me. Thank you so much. It could have been both of them. Both their butts are pointed in my general direction. So thank you, doggos. Jesus, stinks over here.
Okay. Do you have other runner-ups?
It's like burning my eyes. Cowboy Bebop, because I like the idea of spaceships and like hyper technology and like being really into that kind of vibe. And it's an anime, so there's like some really cool like Asian touches to it and stuff like that.
No, JoJo.
But I like the idea of being a bounty hunter.
Oh, like dog?
Yeah, but way cooler.
Oh.
Look at him.
Don't be mean. Alyssa loves him.
Alyssa, you're weird. What's wrong with you? He's a loser. Anyway, whatever. Okay, number one.
Okay.
It's kind of out of left field, I feel like, a little bit.
Okay.
But I just jam with it. It gives me fairy world vibes. It is Wonderland.
Wonderland. That's a good one. Yeah.
Wonderland from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll. Yes. I love it. I just like the whimsy.
Yeah.
It's whimsy on high.
Yeah.
I like that. I like how tricky everything is, and it feels like the kind of place that you would rather grow up there than like get exposed to it.
Yeah, you'd have to grow up there
because
or go there when you were little.
Everything is just so tricky. There's like, oh man, the carpenter and the walrus,
Tweedledee and Tweedledum,
the caterpillar, the card people, and the queen cards, the flowers. Oh my gosh, there's just so much.
What would you be? Or would you just be bop around?
I would want to be like Cheshire Cat level.
You want to be like a Cheshire Cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be his level of understanding.
Yeah.
And like meta knowledge of like, this place is fucking crazy, but I'm part of it, but also I'm above.
I run 6th grade.
Yeah. I run 6th grade. Yeah, exactly that. I want to run 6th grade. Yeah. I just think, obviously there's like some weird parts of it, but I kind of like how confusing everything is, how surreal it is, and nothing really makes sense.
Alice in Wonderland is where they play croquet with the birds.
Yeah.
Like flamingos or something?
Yeah, and the croquet balls
are hedgehogs.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I fucking love it.
I'd want to be like with the Mad Hatter, the brown rabbit.
Oh yeah.
I'd be him.
Yeah, I also love that. The Mad Hatter is very cool.
Yeah.
Getting that Snicker snack, trying to chop off the head of the Jabberwock.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
You know how they did the Mad Hatter in the show Once Upon a Time?
No.
You know that show?
I know the show.
It's real. I thought they did it really well. They did, the Mad Hatter is this guy who lives in town. So the premise is the town, everyone's a storybook character, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
Like, she erased their memory. But the Mad Hatter, she left his memory. She left it intact. So he knows that he's a storybook character and everyone around him is a storybook character. And he knows what the queen did. But everyone thinks he's fucking nuts because none of them have memory.
Right.
Like, how clever is that? Like, so he's literally losing his mind, like, day by day. Like,
it is very clever. It's also a little risky, though.
I mean,
does it eventually come to bite the queen in the butt?
No.
Wow.
Eventually, they all get their memory back, and he becomes normal again. But he's like a little, like, you know?
Are they all like, oh my god, you were right this whole time? Like, does he get vindicated?
I think he does get vindicated. And
that's good.
What's really sad is he had a daughter, and the daughter got her memory wiped and got placed with a different family.
Oh, that's fucked.
So, like, in his house, he's got, like, this big telescope in front of the mirror. He lives across the street from the school, and he, like, watches her at the school, and he can see her, and he knows that that's his daughter. But he can't have her because she doesn't know who he is. Tragic.
That is tragic.
Anyway, it's a great show.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a good show. Yeah. And I barely watched it.
I watched it when I was driving to Wyoming. It was great.
You watched it while you were...
Like, every hotel I stayed in.
Oh, okay.
I was binging Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, see, it's one of those shows that because I love fairy tale stuff, and I love it when people put twists on fairy tale stuff, and that show did it really well. I was always fascinated to learn how they did the twist of this and that, and how they put this person with this person.
He's the big bad.
Yeah. I always found all that stuff very, very,
But some stuff's weird. Like, they make Rumpelstiltskin the son of Peter Pan.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is weird.
That's what I mean.
Some twists they do, I'm like,
but there's some weird ones. Yeah.
It is still good.
Well.
That was good.
Wonderland and...
Neverland.
Neverland.
Yes.
Do you want to riddle off... do you have any other like big runner-ups that you...
I don't think so. The only other...
Because I found lists of fictional worlds.
I did too, and I didn't jive with a lot of them.
Narnia was a big one.
Like, what is enticing me to go there?
Magic and mystery.
Is there, like, wizards?
There's magic.
I mean, there's the White Witch.
What?
I'm a witch.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh, did you see in any of your lists, Discworld?
Oh, yeah.
I had never heard of this a day in my flippin' life. And it said, like, as you know, Discworld is a flat disc that lays on top of 4 elephants on top of a star turtle. That's the world.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That's insane. Have you heard of that before this?
Yeah.
No, I never heard of that. That's crazy.
By Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
It's on my nerd homework list.
Oh. Not mine.
Discworld. The same as like the world Wheel of Time is another series. One of the ones that I found that I was interested in but have never really read or even really heard of that much. There's a series by Anne McCaffrey called Dragon Riders of Pern.
Oh.
Yeah. Dragons who have a telepathic bond with their riders.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The vivid science fantasy world.
I'm sorry to everyone if you hear Olive snoring. She's an old lady.
She's loud.
One of the ones I saw on the lists that made me think of you was Etheria. You know what that's from?
No. Sounds very familiar.
The mythical world of She-Ra.
Oh. Frick yeah. Oh, I want to be a princess of power so bad. Oh, I want to be a princess so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Now what the hell?
The only other one I didn't write down that I thought about writing down was is it called The Mushroom Kingdom? From
Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another good one. I thought about that. It crossed my mind.
That'd be pretty cute.
Another one that I thought of very briefly, but only briefly because I've never actually read the series or anything about it, is the Redwall series.
I don't know.
Are you familiar?
No.
It is I think it might actually take place in our real world, but it's kind of like an adventure thing, like a fantasy adventure story, but all of the characters are like little woodland creatures from England. So there's like a badger, squirrels, hedgehogs,
maybe I have heard of this.
They're like knights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Isn't there something that you used to listen to or watch? Wasn't there something it was like a mouse?
Mouse?
Oh yeah.
Like on TV?
I think it was a movie. But it was like a book or story.
Okay.
And then they made like a live action and or animated thing.
The Tale of Despero?
Yes! The Tale of Despero! I knew you would know it! Oh,
that was my favorite book growing up. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good one that I used to love that I read the book and then they made a movie with Brendan Fraser. Very underrated Brendan Fraser movie.
The Mummy?
No.
Blast from the Past?
Oh, fuck. What is it called? Where he's like a silver tongue or something, which is like what you write comes to life.
Yeah. And the guy who plays...
something.
Spellbound?
Star... We have to find out. That movie is so good. And there's my favorite character is like this
Inkheart.
That's
a great one.
That would be so cool. What you wrote came to life.
And Paul Bettany is
Dustfinger. He's my favorite character. Yeah. He's so tragic because like he's so good, but then you find out that like he ends up like he's not evil, but he like needs Brendan Fraser because his wife is like trapped in a book and they're separated and he's heartbroken. Yeah. And so like he needs. That's the only thing though. Like that'd be an amazing ability to have. But evil people would come for you fucking left and right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they knew you could do that.
Or write things down.
Yeah, because he could write like, Jesse gained $2 million, and then $2 million would just start falling. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? People would be kidnapping you all day.
That's what I would do.
You'd have to be on the DLDL.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like witness protection.
I would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one knows I have this power. Done. Why do you write that down?
I don't know.
Dummy. Anyway.
That
seems like a huge plot hole now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Couldn't you do that?
I don't know. We have to watch the movie and find out.
We will.
Okay.
But also, can you write down
Helen Mirren's
things like that?
Too.
Like where you write down so-and-so is in love with me? Like, can you change people's will that way?
I don't remember. I think there are rules, but I don't remember.
That's what I was thinking. There has to be. Otherwise, it would be that simple. Especially a writer would think of that.
Yeah.
would think of, no one knows I have this power.
Yeah.
No one knows I can do this. And everyone stops chasing me.
Yeah.
Problem solved. So it can't be that simple. There has to be
a loophole.
A rule there.
A rule.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Well, let us know what kind of worlds you guys want to live in.
Yeah, did we miss any big ones?
Did we miss any big ones? How do you feel about the worlds that we picked?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you, if you were in the Avatar 4 Nations, which element nation would you want to live in and maybe be a bender of? Or, you know, if you were in Alice in Wonderland, if you were in Neverland or whatever, Pokemon world.
Right, what Pokemon would you have?
Where would you see yourself in that kind of world?
Yeah, we want to know everything.
Let us know. Send us our emails. We're at hessyandmaven@gmail.com. We have an Instagram and a TikTok and a YouTube, Hessy and Maven. Check it out, all right? And tune in next week where we talk about something else.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.